Ooga booga, here we go. Ooga booga, I'm a hoe, jerking off into the snow.
What's
Banana
up?
butt fucking. Hey, what's up? Not much.
So, I'm really worried for CG.
Well, whether she's a predator or not, she still went through with those erotic role plays, which
That's still very alarming, and CG still needs to take accountability for that, and
yes.
partly for the suggestive art. I will say that. I'm gonna say that right now. I'll bite the bullet and tell CG what's up, and then I'll notify the observatory once they get their bullshit finished. In the meantime, I'm gonna have CG, download those exports, and because if she does hide things, if she has not screenshotted a single thing, then I will say that's suspicious. Now, granted, knowing CG, this could just be because she's scared or something like that, or because she has brain damage. The slightest, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt there.
Yeah,
Knowing
I even have to give Rosalie Ramsey a lot of slack because of her brain damage. We know everything Rose has done, so I understand that front.
but yeah, it's just considering the fact that CG has not screenshotted us, has not shown screenshots of a single thing. I will say that's suspicious. And again, if you know me, the reason why I got so defensive in the first place is because I don't think with my brain a lot, no. I'm gonna be honest. I think with my penis. Okay? I admit that I'm a pervert and I did use the whole protecting CG superhero thing that I usually do in order to try to get laid. I will admit that. I will take accountability for that.
Okay.
But, so I kind of need a proper plan and a proper time to do this, especially as of now with what Septi has been doing. And
Oh,
considering the
no, don't worry. Septi is not going to be an issue. I uploaded the call with Lund that sent them into a rage, putting the thumbnail as a toaster saying, what was it, bathe with me,
oh my
senpai.
fucking god, I saw that.
Yeah,
Also, I
that's early rage bait. My hope is that Septi is stupid once again, copyright strikes that, so that I can do a court case against them. Even if it's just small claims. Just that small little W legally will shut them the fuck up, hopefully, for good.
yeah. So in that case, I can focus on the whole CG and Takeda case full time.
Yeah, that needs to be taken care. The Takeda and CG needs to be taken care of first.
I understand, and I will notify the observatory hopefully tomorrow, depending on what's going on. Because I'm not going to withhold information. Initially, I was trying to because, again, I'm really protective of CG, and you know that she can be easily manipulated. And Takeda using her, that isn't entirely out of the question. The, the fact that this man, well, albeit barely a man, but still a man, took advantage of this very scared, naive, brain damaged woman who's traumatized. Like, we still can't deny that.
We're unable to deny the brain damage. Even with brain damage, however, I will say this. Even if a kid, anybody under the age of 18, tries to force an adult into anything, the adult is the one who holds power. All the adult needs to do, because she said that there were several times that Takeda would force it, right? My main question is, why would she never just screenshot it and send that off to somebody?
Now, granted, in cases of abuse, it can be hard to say no, find help, and fight back. I will say that, but at the same time, I will say that I'm actually kind of suspicious, I'm not gonna lie. Because this is still a very traumatized woman, very nervous, brain damaged woman that can easily be taken advantage of, even by a minor at the end of the day. But still, I will say that is very suspicious. But keep in mind, in cases of abuse, it's hard for abuse victims to speak out, even over the internet and shit like that. Like, I say this as a victim of abuse. I never got to truly speak out. So CG could have been in the same situation as I was, where she was used as a toy and Takeda was taking advantage of her weakness. Because at the end of the day, this, again, is a very scared and traumatized woman, regardless if she's an adult. I'm thinking that this is just the case of CG just being, to put it bluntly, a fucking bimbo, but at worst, like a very naive and stupid fucking bimbo. Hence why she didn't screenshot. I would say that'd probably be the worst case scenario, knowing CG. But then again, it could be a whole lot worse.
Well, if she is, here's, I'm pretty well known as a predator hunter. Carmen's peers, for some reason, seem to respect my judgment, at least in that front. So my main question, why would it be so hard if, like, CG and I are working together on Fighting Dreamers with you. You're like a brother to me. I'm known predator hunter. I've even said before that I've worked cases where I've been able to, beyond a reasonable doubt, state the person who you all thought was a pedo is not a pedo. I've been able to do that, I think, 4 times before.
I get what you mean. So,
but then she tries to come up with why it shouldn't go to Carmen. This isn't Carmen's community. If anything happens, who do you think that's going to fall onto?
It's probably going to fall onto Carmen. Because, everyone is looking for a reason to say Carmen bad and take what they can get and fucking run with it. Because that's
not because Carmen bad. Because it's in her community. Both people are in her community.
In her
she
community.
Needs to be a leader.
So I think I should notify Carmen in the observatory. Because the reason why I was very hesitant on it was because you know how manipulative a lot of abusers can be, and how much power an abuser can have over an abuse victim. And you know how I feel about women getting harmed, and you know what kind of values I had, especially growing up. So that's why I was hesitant at first. Like, I know I shouldn't have done it, and I will apologize for that. But in that regard, I just hope you feel empathy and sort of understand where I'm coming from.
I understand to a degree where you're coming from. To a degree. For me, my main thing is, one, always the safety of the minor. 2, leaving no stones unturned. If Takeda, as a kid, is innocent in this, they're fucked for life. If they're the one who's pushing for this, they were still a minor when they did this. Which means educate. Do not try and ruin them, as you said in the chat. Do not manipulate them.
I'm sorry. I definitely should not have said that. It's just I just feel so much anger, confusion, and frustration. Like, this doesn't justify what I did, but I'm just explaining myself. I was angry, confused, and very fucking bitter in that situation. I'm not going to try to use the same excuse that Septi used, as this doesn't excuse the shit I've done and the shit I've said, but at the same time, like, that's why I did the horrible things I did in that moment. Because there's a stupid reason why we do stupid things. Anyways, but yeah, we're definitely gonna have to address the situation. And I just really don't want CG to be harassed. But if push comes to shove, and I absolutely do have to report her to the police, or at the very least make a cyber tips report, I will in fact do so.
Well, as said, there's no way she's getting out of the ERP. Whether, even as an adult, even if Takeda said, you do this or I'm going to lie and say you're a pedophile. Remember, I was also claimed to be a predator in 2021. And not even 4 minutes after those claims had hit my doorstep, I took about 36 hours and recorded every chat log I had, every file on my computer, and I uploaded all of that to YouTube the next day.
Yeah,
It doesn't take a lot to beat claims if you're actually innocent. Now, again, with that being said, I understand that she is very scared, has a lot of anxiety. And I won't say immediately take it to YouTube or take it to Twitter. That's not what I was trying to get at earlier.
We should give CG at the very least like a few days to gather everything. Hence why I heavily encouraged her. You've seen what I said to her. I heavily encourage her to screenshot, especially if it's the case that she's innocent. While she can't get out of the ERP, I don't think that exactly makes her a pedophile and a predator.
No, it makes her an idiot.
That just makes her a fucking bimbo. Like, again,
she will have to find her own way to atone for that. Even then, with the ERPs in existence, I will say I'm probably not going to stay around her after that. Whether she's innocent or not, anything of that caliber, once she's 25, she should know better. She was 24 at the time.
So, should I make the police report if the ERPs get out, or?
That's where I'm conflicted for the minute, because I don't know if these ERPs are just stupid things like, and then Shrek's cock grew 40 feet and he smashed the village, because that's technically NSFW role plays. And if that's what she's talking about and she's just wording it stupidly, then okay,
knowing
fine,
CG, she probably was doing slutty role plays as the
but if they are
egress cheerleader, some stupid shit.
But if they are very
please Takeda because she's a people pleaser. So I will say that regardless, I will not report the ERPs under the condition that there is proof of blackmail, coercion, and shit like that. However, if there is proof of her just letting it happen without any kind of pressure whatsoever, then I'm probably gonna have to report the ERPs. So
Well, either way, I know I'll have to report the ERPs to cyber tips, but a police report or anything of that caliber, I'm gonna wait until everything is right there because I want to make sure that this isn't. Yeah. Like, I'm being upfront with you. I'm being blunt now. Earlier, I was holding a lot of punches. I'm holding less as time goes on.
I get what you mean. No, I'm sorry I tested your patience and even much even thought of using violence on you. I'm very sorry about that.
Again, you wouldn't get very far if you tried, given who I know.
And not to mention the fact that why would I, a grown-ass man, even a grown-ass man like me, go all the way down to Canada to try to kill some random motherfucker on the internet who is just concerned about a minor on the internet? Like, how much of a loser would I have to be to go to that extent?
Well, here's what I suggest. So, today, just talk it out with CG, see what exactly happened, what went down. And then on the 15th, okay. By 17th. And this is a 5-day plan. And this is if we do it slow to give everybody time. Today is just talking it out with CG. Let her know I have screenshots by the 17th. The 15th, talk it out with Takeda. Tell him to have screenshotted by the 17th. Or you can do both in the same day. This is, I'd say, the slowest that I would want to go.
Here's the main thing that really concerns me, though. CG says if this information ever got out to me, that Takeda would accuse her of being a creep and everything. You know, being really blackmaily and malicious about it. And if what she said is true,
she just has to screenshot Takeda saying that. I don't get why she didn't just screenshot Takeda saying that.
Yeah, but still, the fact that she said that, if what she said is true, then I'm going to be fucking horrified talking with Takeda. Especially with how he usually operates, even as of now.
What do you mean, as of now? Wait, oh, it's Takeda Lugia?
Yeah!
God fucking...
Yeah! I thought you would remember that, hence why I clarified Takeda was an adult. Because he's Lugia.
Fuck. I know how this kid operates. He tried to make Perry out to seem like an actual fucking murderer. Yeah, I know this kid. I've had to deal with him on...
You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I know. He's a kid who I had to fucking curb stomp about 10 different times.
Oh, now will you understand me and CG a bit more?
Tell her to screenshot everything immediately. Because if... Okay. This actually does change how I'm thinking about this a lot, now that I know Takeda is Lugia. Because I remember the name Takeda Shingen. I didn't know where, though.
Wow, this Lugia, I probably should have clarified. No wonder why you were so defensive.
I still have to care about Lugia's safety. Even back when I had to curb stomp the kid, I had to go up after and make sure they were okay. But yes, have CG screenshot everything on the today, and tomorrow when you go talk to Lugia, take me with you, because I can handle NCAP at least. Lugia's a whole different fucking breed. Holy shit.
Because, like, his political insanity, how fucking angry and willing to harass to be in control and get power and shit.
No, I know. They're unironically a fascist.
Oh my fucking god. No, why you wanted to take control of CG so bad? So, okay. Best case scenario. What happens in the best case scenario that Lugia is the abuser and CG is at worst just a stupid fucking bimbo?
Best case, we still need to... Well, I need to make a Cybertips report about the ERPs, and I will still not talk to CG or probably continue making music on the game due to the ERPs, but she avoids a police report.
Okay.
However, as a result, I will be keeping an exceptionally close eye on her. If at any point she initiates even once any of these on her own accord or without being actually blackmailed, like proper blackmail, not being lightly threatened, I mean actually blackmailed, then yes, I will be making a report to the police.
Oh, alright. So, here's what I'm gonna do if the best case scenario happens, which is probably what happens, knowing Lugia and knowing CG. Best case scenario happens, she's banned from talking to everyone else, she will get off her main account and stay on her Capricorn account, and I will keep a very personal and close eye on her at all times, and then if she does anything bad, I will report it to you, and we will make a police report accordingly. But again, if the best case scenario happens, I will just let her chill on her alt account that I had her named Capricorn, and we'll just chill together, and I'll just distance her from everyone else. So that way she's not, like, lonely, entirely punished, or whatever. Because she's not a bad person, to my knowledge, so... If the best case scenario happens, then I'll just let her get off her main account and let her chill on her Capricorn account, and we'll just chill there. That also means I'm gonna have to ban her from my server and make sure she's no longer the owner, and Virus of Greatness may or may not take a very different direction in Fighting Dreamers, along with Virgo, Can I Really Be a Hero? All of that's probably going to take a very different direction, probably. So I will have to ban CG from every single server, make her leave her main account, and then just chill on her alt Capricorn account. like with only me. Best case scenario. So that way, she's not entirely lonely. She has somebody to talk to, but at the same time, she faces consequences for her actions. But if the worst case scenario happens, then I make a cyber tips report, you make a police report, and we make this a whole big fucking deal, and we fucking strangle her for being the manipulative whore she is.
You really like using the word whore a lot.
Yeah, that's just a big part of my vocabulary.
I have a one-person GC named Niggers. Oh, it's me, you, and Neko Koda. We had a GC called Niggers with the three of us.
Oh my god, did we actually make a GC like that? I don't even remember. But yeah, no, you understand where I'm coming from, right?
Yeah. Oh, this was about Studio needing more.
Ah, I remember the old days when I used to go after Neat.
Oh, wait, no. Oh, no, that's not Neko Koda. We just talked about... Oh, no, that's the GC with Fu. I am not scrolling up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, now I remember. Ew.
Yeah, I'm just fucking glad that I was asleep when that all went down.
I'm glad she probably deleted the pictures. Hopefully.
What do you mean probably? Did you use... Oh,
Hopefully.
God, I'm definitely not fucking scrolling up now. I'm just going through everything trying to find where the fuck Lugia is. I don't know what his current name is, so I'm just putting stuff in here. But I have...
I think I have his new Discord that he no longer really uses. Oh, Takeda... I don't know. Maybe it's a deleted account, because I think it is.
Shingen, Takeda... Oh, there's a group that just says nigger, niggers. And it's a black guy. Oh, I didn't even know I was in this. I was just added to it, I guess. I never looked. Oh, it's muted. It's a bunch of, CC people.
Oh, so probably a bunch of Leafy clone edgelords?
Yeah, Leafy clone edgelords. With messages like, nigga, I don't know you. I'm gonna fucking molest your dog, you fucking broke bitch. I'm gonna shove my cock on your gaping leaking asshole. Nigga, I'm older than you. I'm a fucking old ass man, boomer, who smokes Zaza every day. And then it's just them saying nigga 100 times. It's like Fatugan, ex-Refty, and Fall Rot, whoever the fuck those people are. I didn't even know I was in this.
So
I don't even talk.
This is I'm gonna type out my plan. If best case scenario happened.
Oh, Mystic Mongrel hit 50 followers on Twitch. She has that's her status. Wait, do I not have her blocked on Discord? No, I don't. Oh, God. Now she's blocked. Oh, I have her Mongrel account blocked, not her Rose Knight Mongrel. Actually, what is it with everybody who's really fucked in the head who does stupid shit making 1,000 accounts?
I have no fucking idea and I can't keep track.
Okay. Who's the vast of us? Oh god, no, that's Fu. Why? It's Misty. No messages sent. Why are they in here?
Wait, are there multiple Fu accounts?
Yes, she has tried adding me on several of them.
What the fuck?
Usually every few weeks to months, there'll be a request. And if I click on it, it'll be, hey, I'm sorry for how I was. I'm better now. Please be my friend. And it's like always the same shit. And it's like, no, I'm not fucking falling for this.
Oh, no. She's a fucking... It's a fucking trap. Don't fall for it. It's just disgusting.
Yeah,
Ew.
yeah, she did the same thing to Tommy.
And
And
Tommy
she
had...
actually... She somehow found one of my alt accounts. I showed this to Lio back in the day. She found one of my alt accounts. The Himyori Seiko one that I used for predator hunting, which had its own Discord because I also used that account to make music for VTubers for a while. And she fucking found me there somehow. And she's like, hi, I want to be your friend.
She is to be banned. Okay, I really need to focus on typing real quick.
Yeah. I wonder if they went back to the Everlast name. Oh, yeah, there they are. I found them. Everlast. Oh, wait, are they a friend? Oh, God, I still have them friended. No.
So, wait, to get this straight, Lugia is a far-right, fascist, nasty, overly aggressive,
Who threatens to murder people nonstop.
teenager who abused and took advantage of a black woman.
I'm not gonna say we don't know the story there. I know how they were when it came to Perry. I know that this kid is a genuine danger.
Knowing Lugia, if you do the really perverted image, if you really connect the perverted dots of Takeda's fucked up mind, you can kind of see what his intentions were, and you can kind of already tell from the beginning, if you just connect the dots. Fascist, right-wing pervert, naive black woman. Add that up. Make those two connect together. And you just have one big fucked up sexual harassment, sex pest, white supremacist, fucked up puzzle piece.
Again, while yes, Lugia is very severely fucked, and I do kind of wish I knew it was them immediately, it is still our job to investigate this and to make sure we can get as much information as possible. Anything that is left out can make or break a case. So this here is a Discord chat exporter. This is the tool that I use. It's very easy. You download it, you put your Discord token in, which you can get by going into your, what do you call it? Just hit Control-Shift-I, or is it Control-I? Is it M? I'll have to remember. The instructions are on the app itself when you open it. So long as you follow the instructions, you can get your Discord token. Then you just have to click on a chat and then hit export. And it's all done for you immediately. It's even in dark mode by default, so that's not even an issue.
Yeah.
Aw, Septi tried to be slick.
What happened?
Oh yeah, one sec. I don't even need to do anything right now because I literally just found Lugia's account. So boom. So basically, if you recall, Septi changed their YouTube, and they had in their channels Jar and all them that they had the same of prior. They got rid of them from the channel section.
He's doing a horrible job at being slick.
Well, no, I'll send you her channel even. Like it wasn't that hard to find. Like here, it's right here.
Oh yeah, I saw that, by the way.
Oh, okay. So you guys already have it then?
He has the subtlety of a prone-boned Capricorn. That's all I'm gonna say.
And then I found 2 other Septi accounts because Septi's fucking stupid. So Septi has 3 accounts that she's running around on, where all she does is uses them to copyright strike any videos on her, regardless of who makes them. But again, that's the whole point of why I put that call, the part with Loon on my main channel. Again, I'm probably going to get yelled at, but it's going to lure Septi into a trap, and I'm going to have a very, very fun court case.
Probably.
If you weren't there for the Neko days, but Carmen may have spoke to you about it, because that's actually kind of how we got introduced, was through Lovely Lena, and it was immediately straight into Nekopon right after that. During that time, I had talked with my cousin, who was going to school to be a lawyer at the time. So, basically...
Your cousin is a lawyer now, I assume. So.
No, they actually dropped out, but they could probably still represent me. Because you're able to represent yourself too, and even if it comes to that, I'll just ask them what to do.
I'm having trouble focusing on typing for some reason. My brain is just so fucked.
Take your time. The only thing I do ask of you in the future is if somebody says that they're unable to show any evidence because somebody says something, what I would suggest is to let them know, hey, show me this. I will not say to the person that you sent me any of it. Because then you and the other person can work on a plan of attack for days, weeks, months, even years if you need to.
Alright. Yeah, good. Thank you. Please.
Because I don't think that Lugia would immediately be able to find out.
Of course, being that Lugia is restricted from Discord.
What do you mean? What?
Well, I mean, his mother sort of separates him through most of the internet and even made him cut ties with CG. So, at the very fucking least, Lugia has a decent parent, kind of.
Oh, that might have been my doing. You know what? We're not going to talk about that just today. I'm just glad that she held up.
Yeah. We just need to make sure all the ties are cut.
Again, for me, it's making sure that Lugia's alright as he's barely an adult. And making sure that we don't do anything. Like, you know the whole... Jar said it in his one video. I don't know who it's on. But it's like this guy from the Prohibition who did these 10 bad things. Now, if you try to add on to that, and I say no, he didn't, am I defending him? Technically. Basically, if anybody wants to get on CG's case about the ERPs, do not step in. She's dug her grave there. But for the rest of it, we still have to go through and figure out exactly what happened, why it happened. So, I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but I just want to make it like I'm not trying to immediately jump the gun. For the most part, at least. So, but there are some things that I just want to go through. When it came to her explanation. So, she said, when Takeda turned 17, I thought that we'd still be friends until he was 18 and can do things in his own and go on his own journey, find a mate his own age. Which, that's fine. That's completely fine. You know, mentoring somebody, making sure that they're ready, and then, yo, listen, little Rizzer, you go out, you find yourself somebody nice. I'm proud of you. I will teach you art. I will teach you skills. You know, people mentor younger people all the time. I'd consider myself a mentor to Perry. And then there's the next paragraph. Then he says he wanted to do more things such as ERPing with me. And I feel saddened that this is a guy I helped. Which, you know, that's fair. That's like a betrayal. But I feel pressured into drawing myself in cute, adorable clothing such as a long dress, a sweater, skirt, cheerleading outfit, and so forth to help him overcome his sexual drive. There is a little bit wrong with that. The first being drawing yourself in cute clothes isn't inherently bad.
But the fact that there's suggestive intent is a little bit
because that's where the end of it comes in. Helping him overcome his sexual drive. Which in itself leads to more questions, because why would you help somebody overcome their sexual drive in that manner?
Only to enable it by drawing yourself in suggestive ways, especially in a fucking cheerleader outfit. I mean, that sort of sets the suggestiveness in stone.
I'd argue because you see cheerleading outfits even in kids' cartoons, I wouldn't say immediately it makes it suggestive. It's what it was said for later.
The fact that this is Takeda we're talking about, and the way he requested it, and the situation? Yeah.
But she makes sure that none of them were NSFW, because he made that rule. So this is important. He made the rule that there's no NSFW. But she continued doing drawings to help him overcome his sexual drive. These conflict in very different ways. So here's what...
They were clearly pushing each other's boundaries gradually, until eventually they got so sexually driven and overworked to the point to where they couldn't help, or at least Takeda couldn't help, but ERP.
Well, here's what I'm getting with. So if Takeda the minor says no NSFW, why would she continue doing stuff that she knows that he'd probably be jacking off to, by her own admission? Isn't that in itself kind of...
Because that doesn't help overcome his sexual drive at all. That only makes it worse. And now you've created what is essentially a worse version of me. Like, I'm already fucked up as it is. And what CG basically did was indirectly become the cause of what is essentially a monster.
I still just
Because,
can't get over the
again,
fact that after I called Lugia's parents, when I think it was Lio Convoy, myself, and Just a Robot, I think it was the three of us who kept putting him in GCs and fucking with him after he kept trying to say Perry was a murderer. And I called his mother, and then I hear that he got most of his internet access taken away. I'm sorry, I just find that fun. Like, I know I'm being a prick right now. I just can't get over that. I hope he's learned.
he has not, obviously. Because again, if the best case scenario happens, CG is to be banned from every server, made to delete her main account, but she can show on her Capricorn account with at most a cyber tips report, with me watching over CG closely and reporting anything bad to nil. CG is at worst labeled a brain dead bimbo who got forced and manipulated to get frisky with the fascist right wing extremist white incel form teenager, and that's how she's deemed by most of the internet. And that's basically it.
There's a third option that you've left out, and there are three that we have to look into.
What's the third option?
The third option, the first option, she was just dumb. The second, it's a lot worse than we thought. At which point, I don't think even you should be around her. The third one's essentially your option too.
What's the third one, by the way?
Okay. Let's do this more simple.
What's the
Option
third
option I'll do this more simple. Option 1, Takeda is the only aggressor. Option 2, at different points, they were both the aggressor. Option 3, she was the aggressor most of the way.
So
And
wait,
it's all three options that we need to explore.
so I'm gonna say if the the in-between scenario happens, where both Takeda and CG are the aggressors. Many will be encouraged.
If one or two happens, when it comes to Takeda, everybody is to cut Takeda off. If 2 or 3 happens, the same with CG plus police report. Because as I said, the cyber tips report's happening no matter what at this point. It's not something I like doing. It's something I actually dislike doing because I know it's going to hurt you emotionally as well.
Yeah, but I'm still probably gonna be mad at you, even though I shouldn't be. At the end of the day, if you have to do it, if you absolutely have to do what needs to be done, I will not stop you.
Even when it comes to kids who I would gladly knock their teeth out 100 times over, like Lugia, I gotta put them first when it comes to this kind of shit. Like, if Jack Doodle Clones came up to me, the hell that kid has put so many people through. If Jack came up to me and said, hey, I'm finally ready to accept help when it came to NEAT, or hey, this person is grooming XYZ, and came to me with actual proof, I'd be helping Jack immediately. No questions asked. But here's also another thing, because she's trying to make it that she was blackmailed, but she doesn't exactly say it. She says, he wanted to do more things with me, such as ERPing. Right? Oh, wait, where did my fucking thing go? I felt saddened and pressured. So, she then says he pressured me into role-playing these scenes, but she never specifies how she was pressured. She never specifies if it's extortion, if it's exactly blackmail. She never specifies any of that. She just says that she was pressured, which could be even just being asked many times.
She probably just says that because deep down she wants to protect Takeda. It could just be a very sick case of Stockholm syndrome, where she's been manipulated into thinking that Takeda is all she wants and all she deserves and shit like that, which could really fuck with her psyche. And again, if that's the case, then that means the best case scenario happened where CG's the victim, and at worst, like, one of us makes a cyber tips report, and CG will at worst be banned from every server, made to delete her main account, and will just chill with me on her Capricorn account.
Regardless of any situation, though, I'm not going to be sticking around her, because this is even under any given circumstance, it is completely unacceptable behavior, and it's something I personally cannot forgive.
If you no longer want to associate yourself with CG, you can pass her over to me if the best case scenario happens, and I'll probably handle it from there.
Okay.
If the best case scenario happens.
But
if the in-between scenario happens, I'll just leave CG and she can rot in hell with Takeda. If the worst case scenario happens, we'll grieve, we'll feel like shit, and we'll probably try to comfort Takeda, and we'll have to get rid of CG, which I'm gonna feel like shit doing.
I'm going through more, because I do have to get through all this with you. So, she says, alright, makes sense. And then he pressured me into role-playing these scenes. Again, pressured. Not forced, not blackmailed, not extorted. Pressured.
But again, it could just be a case of wording, like it is with a lot of people.
Which is why she will need to get those exports. I felt like a creep, but there's no pictures or sexual photos being sent. I checked the DMs between me and him. That's great and all, but even ERP is still bad. A lot of what I used to do when I was a teen is I would look for men online who were willing to do ERPs. I would ERP constantly with older men from 13 to 17. Some of those men stuck to just ERPs. Some of them, after time, escalated to a lot worse. But even so, the fact that I can go back and be disgusted at every one of those men, it says a lot. So I kind of see myself in Takeda here. If that makes sense. He's going to regret this later.
Yeah. But again, I'm really hoping, and I probably think that the best case scenario is happening, where Takeda is the aggressor here. And again, that's the best I could hope for, because then that means that CG is banned from all servers, but at the same time, she gets to chill with me on her Capricorn account, and that's that.
I regretted to do role plays with him feeling scared and disgusted. Probably should. I thought I was going to jail for life. No, anything like that would get you jail time for like a year max. My dad would hate me for life. That depends on your dad. If anyone knew about this, I'd get murdered by scary people. That's not gonna happen. People are honestly more likely to kill due to her race than due to anything like this, and that is a sad reality. The fact that this boy was exposed to sexual scenes in video games such as GTA or some other game with a high rating at a young age, I think what he says. But even then, I will say, it's not the games that are really ruining Lugia, it's his own mental health that he refuses to get in check. And his belief that anybody who is left-wing is literally out to kill him. He is paranoid to that level.
Jesus, Harold Christ. No wonder why he was so aggressive with me just because I left Carmen one time. And he thought everything revolved around politics, and he became this crazy right-wing fascist, stereotypical right-wing fascist forum incel who wants to just take advantage of black women for his own personal power and gain and shit.
Yeah, there were multiple times where he and ANCAP tried showing me people getting executed. He was, very fucked. And used a lot of fucking alts.
My fucking god. Ugh.
If you're wondering why he did all that, it's because I decided to remain allies with Perry, which he did not like.
But yeah, if the best case scenario happens, I'm gonna take CG under my wing and we'll just do that from there.
And then there's maybe access way due to no outlet. No, he's fucking insane. I won't speak on this scenario in particular, but just in general, he's fucking insane. He could have made writing stories and sexual stuff to get off his urges, but he used real women like me to enable him. Now, this next little bit gets me mad. So, not here, it's a little later, so. Now, I do understand what CG means here, and I do understand where Takita's coming from, too. When I was a teenager, one of the only ways I could, get anything was if there was somebody else on the other side of a chat room speaking to me. Or if I was being made to do any actions on webcam by adults when I was a teen. This started back when I was in Belleville. So, well, I don't exactly know what it's called. I would suggest for him, now that he's an adult, ERP with other adults. That's completely fine for him to do. I wish this is something that had come to everybody's attention while it was happening. To have tried to and get him help. But I think this is the one part where I can actually have empathy on both parts. And then, but it's this next line that really made me mad and scream internally. I was a horrible person for being forced to enable this poor boy's sex addiction.
I will say she's so fucking stupid with that comment. What a...
Yeah. Because you're not forced to enable. The whole point of enabling is that you're allowing them to do it.
I mean, granted,
Being forced is,
question,
if you're enabling somebody, you're doing it of your own free will. If you're being forced, you're not doing it of your own free will. And if it's a sex addiction, I know this is fucked to say, but honestly, at that point, just say to the kid, Rule 34 is a site. Go to fucking e-hentai. Leave me alone.
like, why did he have to use a real woman?
I don't know. Even when I was a teenager and I did that, I never had any ERPs with people like on Discord who I knew. That's taking it to a whole new level. If he was going to, and again, this is going to seem fucked to say, I would have suggested just a chat room, not somebody that he knew. And then to stay quiet on that, he's putting himself in a lot of fucking danger, and he didn't even realize it. This is part of what I got on ANCAP for, too. Because ANCAP, and speaking of, the fact that ANCAP is still hanging around Lugia and Loon is disgusting. Because if you remember, ANCAP was in several end-to-end encryption groups where adults and minors were all mingling together and sending actual photos of their actual naked bodies to each other. I don't know if you remember that or not.
I partly remember the encrypted messaging group and how they were sending sus things and how he was even in a chat with a pedophile, but I do not remember all of that, no.
That's why I got on ANCAP's case. Way back in the day, that's why I got on their case. That's why I had them blocked. I forgot they existed for a while.
What do you think this whole situation is? What do you think?
I think it's fucked because right now we have ANCAP, who we know does end-to-end encryption sex chats with both minors and adults in the same rooms, who was hanging out with Lugia, who was having ERPs with Controversial Girl, who stayed quiet on it until I asked if she knew Takeda when he was a minor. And at one point, if I recall, ANCAP asked Lund to join one of those chats. This is something that Carmen needs to address, or at the very least look into, because it is looking worse. The more that I bring up these incidents from the past, and all of these are minors from her community.
The minors are so fucking disgusting that I'm even going to go as far as arguing that a lot of the adults around them are victims of them, not the other way around.
No,
just because
it is up to the adults to correct and stop that behavior and to make sure that the minors are safe.
I mean, I get that, but this is Lugia we're talking about.
Even so, and as much as I wish I could beat the fucking piss out of this stupid ass kid, when you are doing something of this caliber, you need to put your emotions aside.
I get that, but what do you think CG and Takeda have been doing behind the scenes? What do you think the scenario is? Like, give a prediction.
Well, seeing as ANCAP is still in talks with Lugia, and Lugia's ERPing with CG, or at the very least was, I think it's worth asking CG what she knows about those end-to-end encryption chats. Because that's going to be telling. If she knows nothing, okay, good. Thank fucking Christ. If she does know, you're going to want to run. Because as stated, there were pedophiles in that end-to-end encryption chat. There were minors, there were adults, they were sending Shotokan, Lolicon, pictures of their actual bodies, and sexting. Along with the erotic roleplay, but I would group that in with sexting. The end-to-end encryption was so that they could not be located via IP grabbers, or any tracers in any of that, and the messages would be automatically deleted after. Now, unless something has happened, and I need you to realize this, only yourself, myself, Carmen, and Loon, because Loon, again, was asked by ANCAP and was the one who brought it to my attention back in the day, know of this. Has this been discussed with everybody else in the server, or only us select four?
To my knowledge, we've only known about the very disgusting chat. We did not know it was this fucking bad. Like, we knew it was bad. We knew that, like, there was even a literal pedophile on there. We knew that ANCAP was getting in encryption chats that were very fucking sus. We knew that there were probably a lot of unfiltered, sex-related, extremist content in there, probably. But we did not know it was this fucking bad.
Okay, I'll go with that. You guys did not know it was that bad, even though yourself, Carmen, and I had chats about it. Granted, most of them were VC, so I don't expect you to remember everything.
But yeah, again, I'm really hoping the best case scenario happens where you just give some half-assed cyber tips report and we just call it a day and she can just chill on her Capricorn account and I take
Again,
her.
I have to go by whatever is given to me.
I'm just hoping for the best case scenario so I could just take her under my wing at least.
And if you're wondering why I'm asking for a time limit, I usually do that. That's just so that people don't have all the time in the world to go through every single message and delete it all. Because most people have jobs and everything, and that leads them to not be able to make up false narratives. And so usually you give them 48 hours max. Because even if they do start deleting messages at that point, things are not going to make sense when you start reading it. And it's going to be, oh no, how do I fill in this gap? So, again, because I know that it's not going to make sense why I have a time limit on that. Why I say, the timer was 72 hours from 6 p.m. But that is why. So obviously if Takeda is no longer on Discord, and that is my fault, I will take accountability there. And sadly, no, I do not have access to their phone number anymore, and I'll probably have to look again. Reason being, I deleted almost everybody's information off of my computer. So it's going to be hard to keep in contact with them. But I guess the one question I do want to ask now, is Lund still in contact with ANCAP?
Kind of, yes. They're not as close as they used to be, but they're still in contact.
Has ANCAP done anything weird as of late?
Surprisingly not. Surprisingly, he's been chill. Surprisingly.
Alright. I know ANCAP's only 15 right now, maybe 16. So, I'm willing to put it to a kid being a dumb kid. Dumb kid being a dumb kid. I'm willing to leave it there.
Alright, yeah.
Takeda,
So,
we're gonna figure out if Takeda's just a dumb kid or if Takeda is a malicious motherfucker. And CG,
I
we're gonna.
almost guarantee you that Takeda is a malicious motherfucker. I'm sorry, go on.
I know because Takeda also had a hand to play in those end-to-end encryption chats. If you remember that.
Really now? Just show me that information later.
Right.
But what about CG? What's gonna happen with her?
That's what we're waiting on.
Because again, I'm just hoping that we at worst get her banned from every server and she deletes her main account and I take her under my wing under her Capricorn account to honestly just fuck the shit out of her, but yeah.
When it
That's
comes
honestly what I'm hoping for.
when it comes to Takeda and ANCAP in those chats, though, I'm not going to use a lot of that on them because both of them were minors at the time. Takeda, to my knowledge, was 16 when that was going on, if I recall.
16, 17, somewhere around there. Yeah. He
That's
was
still
a
a kid.
minor. I mean, he's been an adult since early 2023, if that's what you're wondering.
Oh, I thought he was like freshly 18. Because that's how you guys made it out when you said barely an adult.
I mean, that's still barely an adult, let's be fair. But still.
But this also worries me because if the Takeda was 16 and 17, again, that correlates with those chats from the past. And I don't exactly want to do Nil has to shut down encryption 2.0.
Yeah.
Because even back then, I was unsuccessful in 1.0. I'm not usually unsuccessful. Actually, no, I can't say that. 2023 has been kind of shit for me. It's been like a 50-50. 2022, I was at peak.
But yeah, I'm just really hoping that best case scenario happens so I can sort of protect CG and I can just breed the absolute shit out of her on her Capricorn account and steal her from a mentally ill, manipulative pile of dog shit of a teenager. That's honestly what I'm hoping for, to be honest. That's what I really want.
So, I think we can leave this here because we've been going in circles. But I do have just one quick thing to ask that's been on my mind since the very beginning of this, almost, since you mentioned it.
Yeah?
So you said that she does not want to show you anything in case Takeda goes after her for it, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
How would Takeda know if he's not been on Discord?
How'd Takeda know if what now?
If Takeda's unable to go on Discord anymore due to parental locks, how would Takeda know?
Takeda knows because he's still indirectly contacting CG through different means. I think it's through Twitter or through some other social media or through a friend. But yeah. So there's a chance that he may be on a Discord alt account and then asking ANCAP to talk to her through that alt account as to not raise suspicion from their parents and shit. I think that might be what's going on.
Alright. So, our plan for tomorrow then, I'm going to have you give Discord chat exporter to CG. I'm going to have you and I go through the messages. After
And we'll
that,
probably, I think we should review them in a call, and one of us record the call, and while we go through the screenshots and everything. So yeah.
after that, I'm going to bite a bullet. I'm going to stay on Discord for a bit. We'll ask Carmen, and we'll see if she's able to set up a call from there. We're going to talk to ANCAT. Hopefully, they're normal now. Hopefully. I pray to fucking God. And from there, we can get to Lugia. At which point, Lugia is to screenshot everything on their end, which can then be compiled in the observatory for a call. Whether you guys want me in that call or not, it's completely up to you.
But either way, CG's getting banned from everything and is getting at least a half-assed cyber tips report.
Even cyber tips, I go all out, but yes. At best. But that is assuming that they are only very, very light ERPs, and she was being actually blackmailed.
Knowing Takeda, he did do some form of very malicious manipulation.
If Takeda says you're going to ERP with me, or I'm going to go to your house, and gives her address and says I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna take a photo, and then I'm gonna say that you brought me there and molested me. Well, yeah, okay, you know what? I can understand. To a degree. I can understand. But the chances of that happening are very slim.
So, but what if Takeda makes some sort, not really a threat, but some sort of heavy pressure to manipulate her into doing such? What if that happens?
Heavy pressure, there's a block button.
So, what will we do with CG then if she was only at most pressured into doing it?
Oh, the fucking full circle. There's no reason that any of that should have happened unless she was actively fearing for her life. And it actually makes sense. If Lugia, sends a photo of him holding a pistol, and then, again, with her location, or something like that, you know what? Then I might actually be okay. You got me. There's actually a reason you were actively fearing. But pressure, no.
So, if it was just a case of pressured, would the best case scenario still happen?
Oh, fuck no. If it's just pressure, that a kid being like, hey, ERP with me, ERP with me, ERP with me, ERP. You should really ERP with me. That, no.
But what about, very shitty, flimsy threats?
As I said, all that you have to do is screenshot it as an adult, and you are very easily able to win over the child.
So would the best case scenario still happen then if it were just half-assed threats?
Half-assed flimsy threats, no. Again, for the best case scenario, and if we're being realistic, because we have to put emotion aside, what needs to happen for only a cyber tips is she is actively shown to have a reason to fear for her life or her family's safety. That makes sense. Unless Lugia has her real name, her real location, her phone number, her email, has his own weapon, or is willing to go to her house to pretend to stage being forced, there's not really much reason any of this should have happened.
Okay, so to get one thing straight, Takeda does have Aisha's real name, at least during that time he did. I would assume so. And I think he
She
did
doesn't
know
really
a
make a
lot
point. Hmm?
about CG and her home life. So Takeda knew at least those two things. Like, what kind of scenario would it be then?
So he knew her name and what, her location or her home life?
Knew about, like, her home life in Canada with her family and all that. He knew that.
Knowing the name, even I found out her name, and fuck, would it take me like 5 minutes when I actually tried? Canada 411 is amazing. You should try it out. Um, no, if he knows her home life but not her actual location, like he cannot
Like,
pinpoint it.
he knows a general location at least. He knew a general location at least back then. Then again, knowing Takeda, he could have said, "All right, you worthless new slave, you're gonna satisfy my right wing desires by sending me your address so I can threaten you with it," and like, or some dumb shit like that. I could just imagine some stupid shit like that happened.
Well, we're
And
gonna hopefully by the end of today, because it's a new day. So hopefully within the next 24 hours, we'll have our answer. But if there is actual threats being shown that are viable, not just, again, flimsy half-assed ones that are obviously not ever going to happen, viable ones,
at
then
least
yes,
ones
there
that would
should be
make
some leeway.
CG
Hmm?
fear for her life, or at the very least her reputation,
Fearing
then
about reputation, no. All that she would need to do in that case is screenshot it.
again, this is CG with Takeda we're talking about. So this is going to be a very special case. There's no other case.
No, you can't have special cases. As an adult, once you pass the age of 18, that's where your journey starts. By the time you're 21, you should already be adjusted to the real world. At 25, she should have known at this point to screenshot where Takeda had done such. At the very
And
least.
not go on with the advances. Again, I will make a report to CG, but I just really want the best case scenario to happen. Just because. I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking with my dick. Am I thinking with my dick?
You're flip-flopping between your dick and logic.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I could just be thinking with my dick. I knew I was thinking with my dick.
But I'll let you get to sleep because I'm going to pass out too. Is there anything else that you want to bring up?
I'm not sure what else I want to bring up, but I just like part of me is really, 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 really hoping I can still sort of keep CG. I just really want to.
Mm-hmm.
I know I probably shouldn't, but is it like a bad thing that I really want to, or?
Not until we have conclusive answers. For
Yeah.
now, just Prepare yourself for both outcomes.
Alright, I'm just very nervous and but yeah, you'll eventually cut ties with her after the whole ordeal is done and over with. And again, like I've been constantly repeating, if the best case scenario happens, because this is what I wish for, then I'll watch over her while she chills on her Capricorn account. And to put it bluntly, have a personal cum slut, basically. Because, well, this is still a. Just you get what I mean. I know I probably
Not how
shouldn't.
I would have worded it, but
I mean, I'm putting it somewhat bluntly here. I mean, you get what I mean. But yeah, I think that's just about the only thing I want to say. I know I'm probably a little fucked in the head, but yeah, you're okay with that, right? Kind of.
on a good day, yeah.
Okay.
Today's just been a lot.
Yeah, I would say so.
I've had 4 people I am very close to lose their lives this week, and then found out my ex faked his death for years, which was the cherry on top
It just
earlier today. So.
we've all had a very, very, very shitty past few weeks. Like, like I constantly have to deal with my favorite girls, like the girls who I love most and the girls who I'm closest to, constantly having to deal with the worst breed of sex pests.
I know. Fucking Septi was a good example of one.
Septi, Takeda, Silent,
And
all of
Cap's a pretty big sex pest too, or at least was. I'm genuinely hoping the next time I talk to this kid, he has, you know the meme, like, oh, imagine if they come back and they're like jacked and normal. Like I'm hoping for that. Like kid has touched like grass.
like which kid?
And Cap, I know Lugia won't.
ANCAP has done a little better, somewhat better. Not entirely better, but somewhat better, and you will see improvement.
If the first thing he does is send me a video of an execution, I'm going to lose my shit.
God. I just try to lighten up. I'm still your loving, supportive brother, and I always will be, man. Just I really appreciate you and what you've done. I'm sorry I've been so angry and aggressive, especially with you as of recently. You mean a lot to me, man.
You mean a lot to me too.
It just hurts me knowing that all of these poor girls are going through that. Just I feel so fucking pissed, especially because of my values and the kind of women I'm around and seeing what they go through every single day. Having to deal with tiny prick after tiny prick from a sexual harasser poking them constantly. This is just it just pisses me the fuck off.
Because there was. I know there was Neat. Clones is still around them, no matter how many times we tried. Then, as stated, there was Septi. Are there any more that you can think of off the top of your head, or no?
Then there's now Takeda, but back then CG had to deal with a different kind of sex pest. She almost got into forced arranged marriage with a very, very
Oh yeah, her
other.
ex. Yeah, that her mom tried to force her with.
So yeah, every girl that I'm around that I've been close to have that I've not only loved but have loved me back, they constantly have to deal with the same sex pests, like at least once a fucking week. It just pisses me off, and you can kind of see why I'm still on CG's side here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry I've been keeping you up, man. I
It's
just
fine.
can't sleep. I cannot sleep at all.
Well, you're gonna need to get some rest. Tomorrow's gonna be. It's not gonna be a fun day. We
I
can
can
do
fucking
everything
tell.
slowly,
Not
or we
only
can
am I
we can
gonna have to
speed run.
break not only am I going to have to break the news to Carmen, who's already going through a lot of shit, but it's going to turn into a whole ordeal about CG that I really wanted to protect her from, but can't. And tomorrow is definitely going to take one of the biggest tolls on my mental health. And if I do end up crying in VC like I did back in the day, then that's
Yeah.
gonna be that's just gonna be something I'm just not ready for.
Well, when the time comes, if you want, just hit me up on the cell phone. You already know I don't really touch Discord that much anymore. Usually just drop music files. But
I I understand.
if I'm needed for that call or text or whatever it is, just shoot me up a message.
Um, sorry that you have to go through this now. It's just been a really, really, really shitty late part of the year for all of us. It's just been a shitty year in general, really. Now that I think about it.
Well, I had to cut off Mongrel because she started colluding with sexual predators. I had to do the same with Septi for the same reason. When one of my best friends became a rapist, I've had to go through this a few times before. It's nothing new to me. You
Yeah,
you kind of just get used to it.
I just need a little bit more time. I love CG. She was even a girlfriend of mine at one time. And at one point, even if it was just for a moment, I thought of her as my Amanda. Granted, a different Amanda, but an Amanda nonetheless. The way she nurtured me, healed me as a person, and I don't don't want to see CG end up this way. And I'll even go as far as saying that I love her more than Carmen. I love CG so much, and the fact that I'm gonna have to make one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make, I just don't think I can mentally handle it. I love her. She's provided for me in every way that I would want her to. What do I do in that situation now? The same kind of situation where someone who you love dearly is going to get in trouble for even so much as a minor offense. Because CG deserves none of this. She doesn't deserve to be around a piece of shit like Takeda and to be used by him. Used by this political incel forum maniac. Like, none of this ever had to happen, and I mean, I know CG's done wrong, but at the end of the day, you know that this is a nervous woman that a sick, twisted man took advantage of. And I'm always going to see it that way. So what do I do in that situation now?
Well, whether you're for her, against her, neutral, the decision you need to make is the same. Read the chat logs. They will show the truth.
I mean,
she can lie. She can lie and call. She can lie and text. She can tell the truth in both. We know that people can be truthful. They can deceive. The one thing where you will get the clearest answers as to what really went down are those logs. They will paint the story. Because, and I hate to say this, why in anybody's bright mind would they say that in front of somebody whose civic duty it is to investigate this kind of stuff? That's just stupid. That's stupid. I just got done about 20 minutes ago talking about, I don't know how it's always me. 20 minutes before that, I don't know how it's always me who these people admit all this stuff to. And you guys agreed it was stupid that people did that, and then you did it. But if, again, those chat logs show she is being extorted, blackmailed, manipulated, then if you stay by her side, I will not blame you. But if they paint a different story, that will be a test on your character. And I know that's eating you up alive right now, is that not knowing.
So I'm going to get those logs. Because getting the logs isn't the hard part, but it's just the result or the
Of the
hard part.
logs, yeah.
While I know what I'm going to do if each scenario plays out, I just I'm just not prepared for the any other scenario besides the best case scenario.
That's why I said you have to prepare yourself for every scenario. There could be a scenario where, again, Lugia does all of it. Which case? Best case. There could be one where it's opposite. Which case I hope you throw her out. There could be a case where it's 50-50, or a case where where it's Lugia doing it but it's not harsh threats, which I'll leave that one up to you. Whichever case you take there, I'm not going to blame you for in that scenario.
I'm probably gonna take CG's side if Takeda is the aggressor in the situation, regardless of what the threats are. Even if they're half-assed threats, I'm still going to prefer we still go down the best case scenario route, because this still is a disgusting excuse of a man taking advantage of a scared, nervous, traumatized, brain damaged woman at the end of the
As
day.
for me, I'm going to put them both at fault where they each do wrong. Where Lugia is the aggressor, I will put it to Lugia's throat, and where CG is, I will put it to her throat. We just have to wait for those results.
So, will you do the police report if Takeda's the aggressor, but the threats aren't as threatening if it's just pressure?
If it's just pressure, yes, there will be police reports. I've had to do police reports on people I love, care for in the past. It sucks.
Oh, God.
I have had many allies at this point who have turned out to be not the best people, and I've had to throw out. And it takes a lot for me to throw people. Well, no, it doesn't. People can murder, and I don't care. It's only really when it has to do with a kid, but still. But yeah, I recommend.
This is going to hurt.
Well, it's not going to be pleasant. But honestly, and I need you to let CG know this, Lugia does not have any capability to follow through with any of their threats. The worst that they are is a script kitty.
Yeah, I guess you're right in that regard, but just considering how Lugia is as a person, I rather that we just go down the best case scenario route considering how the two are, unless there's a case where CG is made in advance. Because, I tell you what, if CG makes so much as one sexual advance towards Takeda as a minor, then I will full on agree with you, and then we'll just leave it at that, and then we'll just not do the best case scenario, then we'll do the police report. Sound good?
Sounds good.
So here's the plan. If CG never once made a sexual advance on Takeda, and Takeda was the one making all of the advances, all of them, meaning there was never a single time where CG made a sexual advance towards Takeda, then we'll do the best case scenario. However, if CG even once makes a sexual advance on Takeda, then we'll go after CG's throat. Sound good?
That sounds good.
Okay, let me type it out so we remember. So this is my plan. If at any point CG either A makes a sexual advance towards Takeda in the chat logs, B at any point CG without hesitation accepted Takeda's advances, meaning there was no hesitation and she wanted to do it without hesitation, then we make a police report. Or C, she doesn't get the chat logs at all in any given time, then we make the police report.
Mm-hmm.
So, report will be made on 3 conditions. One, she makes sexual advance at any point. Two, Okay, so by putting a little thumbs up below my most recent post, you agree to these 3 conditions that I made. So a police report will be made on 3 conditions. Either 1, she makes a sexual advance on Takeda at any point. 2, she willingly accepts sexual advances without sign of hesitation, meaning any reluctant acceptance won't count because then that'll just prove as manipulation. Or 3, CG does not show the chat logs in time. Can we agree on that?
If she makes any sexual advances, I'd say if she accepts any without any form of threat within a recent time period.
I'm still gonna not count the reluctant acceptance. However, if at any point she gladly accepts it without any level of hesitation and says yes without blinking twice, then I'm gonna make that. Then I'm gonna have either you or myself make a full-on police report. So if any of those three conditions happen, the best case scenario won't happen. Deal?
We'll see in case it gets extremely graphic. For now, I know 1 and 3 I'm fine with. Number 2, a little iffy.
Thing is, you know how CG operates. So reluctant acceptance can just not count, being that can still be proof that Takeda is taking advantage of the nervous woman. However, if she willingly, happily accepts it, or accepts it without even blinking twice, then that's going to be on her. Mainly because I know how CG operates. So I'm glad we can mostly come to an agreement.
I guess. For me, there are many more factors, such as how explicit it gets, if any of the threats actually make any form of sense. Because number 2, I've had a lot of cases too where people will pretend to be very, very reluctant, even when behind the scenes with people, to try and make it so that, if they get found out, then they can have plausible deniability, which is why I'm very, very struggling on number 2. As noticed,
yeah,
I play like 40 chess with myself every step of the way, because I know these are 2 lives that we're essentially holding in our own hands, and you can't afford to fuck up. I fucked up majorly on Necopon, right? And that's pretty well the only one I've ever majorly fucked up on. Do you want to know why I kept fucking up on it every step of the way? It's because I let my emotions interfere. No other case have I allowed that to happen. That's why that one has been so fucking scuffed every time I touch it.
I guess you're right.
So I understand that right now I probably seem very cold. I seem very distant. Right now I have to figure out where every step of the way everything has happened. And I have to hold both people accountable for their actions, regardless of how much I like them. Like, CG and I get along pretty decently. We're pretty neutral. Or how much I dislike them. Like Lugia, who I just found out my call like a year ago to his mother had him get kicked off the internet. I didn't think... You know what? And again, I will give his mother props. A lot of mothers would not do that.
But
so regardless of that, I have to hold each accountable for each action they took along.
I will use the full-on... I will take everything else into account once I read the chat logs. For now, these are the 3 basic rules. Those rules may be subject to change as we read through the chat logs. Sound good?
That one I can agree to.
Okay, then rule number 4. That way, so you can fully agree, these rules are subject
they're subject to change if anything extremely big happens.
We review the chat logs and investigate. Because again, the only reason why I have number 2 up here is because this is CG we're talking about. This isn't the kind of person who would pretend to be reluctant for own sexual pleasure. She's always been that way. But then again, I could just not know a person. Yeah, can you agree on these 4 conditions now?
Yes, no, I can.
Alright. Good. Awesome. I'm glad we've actually made a somewhat proper plan and progress instead of being an emotional mess.
So I guess now we have to work on a timeline for what we're going to do. So, do you want to do this all today and tomorrow, or do you want to do it over the few days?
I say over the few days, be relatively patient here.
Okay.
Because while this is a minor being involved, keep in mind we're also dealing with the victim of an actual abusive relationship, if what CG is saying is true. So we're dealing with both an abuse victim and a minor. So we're both gonna be pushed against a corner where we have to choose between the woman or the child.
Oh no, there have been cases I've investigated where basically after the report I said fuck you to both sides. Because both sides did terrible shit. It's not a bad thing to essentially say fuck you to somebody and still help them out.
Yeah, I get you, man.
I've had to do it where I concluded both sides are fucking terrible people.
Yeah, it's not the first time I've done such a thing as well.
So don't feel like you have to pick a side. Hold each action accountable. Each action has a different weight.
But ultimately, this is probably going to be a black and white situation where we have to choose between one or the other, considering the fact that we're dealing with both a woman who's an abuse victim and an abuser.
Oh no
but
no no
is
no
a
no no
minor.
no no no! No. You see, what if he is threatening CG the whole time? We don't have to take his side. Here's what I'm saying: you can say "fuck you" to both people. You can say, "You went along with the ERPs, fuck you. You tried threatening this person, fuck you."
Or at the very least, tried manipulating them, because I know for a fact Lugia may have done that. Most likely, knowing Lugia. Especially if we're talking about 17-year-old Lugia, then yes.
Lugia was at his most unhinged in 2022, I will agree. I wonder if Lio and Just a Robot remember that GC.
This is gonna be terrible.
It's probably gonna be not decent at the very least.
Yeah. Do you think Jar would want to be involved in another one of Lugia's bullshit again? Or
No, it was he got involved because we were dunking on Lugia trying to say that Perry's an actual serial killer for being left wing. And if I remember correctly, Jar just happened to join in the call. I think it was in my server at the time. And Jar just happened to join into the call. He was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah, okay. As for Lyo, I say don't get him involved in this specific situation. Being that you know how Lyo operates.
Shit, the Sparing Wave. Lyle operates how he needs to. He doesn't pull any punches. He cares about the safety of children. That is his main concern.
Yeah. But I'm glad we come to an agreement. For now, let's just you and I handle this, especially because of how personal the situation can get and how Carmen could potentially get involved. And
Oh, wait, was it this one? Either way, Carmen will have to get involved. It's not nice. It's not something really to be happy about.
especially with what Carmen is going through, yeah, no, I really don't want to do this because then she's gonna fucking. I don't know. For some reason, I have a feeling that Carmen's really gonna want to strangle me.
Well, if she gets mad at you because you're trying to make sure that her community doesn't have another fucking huge ass dilemma, then that's on her.
For some reason, I feel like she's gonna be like, "Oh my god, why didn't you tell me earlier?" Or some stupid shit. I mean, she's kind of grown from that, but like, I have a horrible gut feeling that Carmen's gonna think, "Oh my god, are you hiding stuff? Are you lying?" Or some stupid shit like that. Or she's gonna do something really fucking stupid or let her emotions get the best of her. I have a horrible gut feeling about this. Like, even with Carmen how she is now, I'm I have a bad gut feeling.
She seems to get much more. I don't want to say submissive, but whenever I come in around for some reason, she gets very like all hostility's gone. So I don't think she would, at least not while I'm there. At the very least. And that should give you time to explain your case.
I'm really gonna hate doing this. That, and I planned on spending a lot of time with CG. I was even planning on playing TTD with her. Having her make lewd art and fun little comics, helping Carmen, just doing all sorts of really fun and amazing things because she's a fun and amazing person, and she just happens to get controlled by all of these abusive pieces of shit pulling the strings.
Well, my main question is again, you guys know that whenever there's anything involving a minor, and it's sexual that I have to look into it when there's a minor adult involved. Why would she think that was a good idea to bring up?
Oh, maybe because she felt guilty, maybe because it was a cry for help, maybe because she wants to escape from Takeda's grasp and feels like biting the bullet is the only way to do so. I'm still heavily under the impression that
That it
CG is.
might be a cry for help?
I'm still heavily under the impression that she's crying for help and that she's still mostly innocent. Like, the ERP is still very much a bad thing to do, but
If it's a one-time ERP and it's not graphic, too graphic, it's literally just cyber tips. They do practically nothing.
yeah. So I'm really hoping that the ERPs are um, just pretty vanilla, being that CG's a vanilla person. But if the what are your standards? Like, what kind of ERPs would make you want to do a police report? Like, what are the standards for that?
Any form of ERP that's not being dumb, like, and then fucking I don't know, SpongeBob grew 10 penises and cartwheeled on them. Like stuff like that. That's technically a NSFW, but not really. Just goofing around, whatever. But like, as soon as it's like, and then he licked their pussy good, stuff like that will immediately make me want to rush to that police report.
So it depends on whether or not it's jokey and stupid.
There's a lot of other factors, but essentially, yes. If they're basically having a normal conversation or normal role play and parts of it just get really dumb, like again, like SpongeBob cartwheeling on 12 fucking penises. Okay.
Yeah.
Technically NSFW. It is what it is. Fucking weird. I may want to ask how that even came to be. But probably no report. But as soon as it gets graphic, or as soon as it gets sexual, or as soon as it starts getting essentially past a level that no adult minor should have. Right, I'm trying to be as courteous as I can here with my words.
I guess I see what you mean. As for me, it's probably going to be like depending on whether it's like a vanilla ERP and they just happen to get a little bit more sexual than they probably should have, then I'd give it a pass. Same with the suggestive art. But if it actually gets to a point to where they start adding in fetish stuff, that's when I'm probably going to have to agree with you on the police report thing, unfortunately.
Whether vanilla or not, there should not be sexual stuff in any RP between an adult and a kid.
Yeah, I get that, but this ERP stands for erotic roleplay, meaning there is going to be erotic stuff in it. So regardless, we're going to see erotic stuff in the roleplay. That's what that means. But I will say that it'll probably just end up in a police report, maybe regardless. I just hope it's just a cyber tips report, but my standards would be like if it gets beyond suggestive. Like, you know how they're, like, ratings for
Video
erotic novel
games.
stuff? Like, like ratings for erotic novels and stuff. There's Apple, where it's all sweet, cute, and wholesome, and there's
What?
all the way up to a durian, where
What the
it's
fuck are you talking
extremely
about?
fucked up.
Okay, I was in the NSFW community like all my teen years and early adulthood. What the fuck are you on about?
So there's basically these communities that these erotic, like these erotica writing communities that sort of rate things based off of how lewd they are and how disgusting and fetishy they are, based off of fruits. And the more sour the fruit rating is, that means the more disgusting, fetishy, and dirty the erotica is. So basically, it has 5 ratings: apple rating, orange rating, lime rating, lemon rating, and lastly, durian rating. So apple meaning it's extremely sweet, extremely wholesome, and isn't really very erotic at all. Then orange is where it's pretty lewd, it's pretty suggestive. It's like making out and stuff, but like not exactly full on sex. Maybe like implied sex at worst. And then lime is where it's pretty lewd. Sex is involved, but it's still relatively tame. Lemon is where some fetishy stuff is shown and it gets pretty hardcore. And then durian is where it gets extremely fucked up. And it's the most dirty and fetishy of all, with scat fetishes and stuff and shit like that. So I say once the ERPs go beyond like an orange rating, that's probably when that police report's probably going to be solicited. I would say. You probably still don't understand, but I think
No,
you get what I.
I do. I'm just letting it soak in. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Okay.
we'll rate the ERPs based off of how fetishy and nasty they are. If they're still relatively sweet and wholesome with, like, at worst making out, we're probably just going to fill out the cyber tips report and call it a day. However, if it goes beyond an orange rating, once it gets into wine territory, then we will consider a police report. But once it gets like lemon and,
No,
God forbid, durian level, that's when we're going to make the police report.
what once it hits lime, that's police report right there, in my
Yeah.
books.
So apple and orange is cyber tips territory,
Apple would
but
be cyber
wine
tips.
and
Orange
fire
is
is
depending
police
on how many
report.
there are, if they're being forced, coerced, etc. There are, again, a lot of things that you
There
need to
are a
look
lot of
into.
other factors, but if we're to go down the general factor where it's just pressure and reluctancy, then that's how we'll like probably rate it. But the moment there's something more sinister going on Takeda's side, then we're probably gonna take more things into account. But like from a general standpoint, that's probably how we're going to rate it. If it's just the case of pressure and, just really mean, dirty threats and shit like that. So that's how we're generally going to rate it. So apple and orange is cyber tips report. However, the moment when one of the ERPs go into wine territory, that's probably when you're going to have to make that police report. Because then that's when it gets actually really sexual. Like, it's already going to be erotic and suggestive, but sex territory is what we're really trying to look for here.
Well, I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah, you probably do need to go to bed, but you understand what I mean, right?
Somewhat yes and somewhat no.
I'm just trying to really gauge how we should go about this and find the best possible route so CG safety is sort of guaranteed, kind of.
For me, the level of safety is the level of complicity.
Yeah.
But I will see you later on today, probably. And I'm gonna go and wait for Septi to strike the video. I made sure to put their real name in the description. Oh, you haven't heard the best of it. I made sure to put Septi's real name in the description. The thumbnail is a toaster saying "Bathe with me, senpai," and it literally has Septi's channels all linked in the title.
Yeah.
Peace.
Okay, see ya.
And for those wondering why I'm going to have my fun with Septi, I don't want to say I've snapped, but I'm close to it. Maybe I'm just not thinking straight right now because I've had 4 people die. One person found out to be alive who I thought was dead, and then found out that CG may be grooming a kid, like. And Akri, for those of you who don't know why I'm recording this, why I'm being so much more forgiving, because I have a feeling I know how this is going to end out, and I want to make sure if it does, Akri digs his own grave. And that's because of a GC that happened earlier today. One of which I've already sent to Lio Convoy and Galbanum. And these calls here are essentially, I would say, protection. All I have to do is give subtle hints like you should maybe do this. Maybe go with a police report if she's done this. Just subtle things that should be very easy to follow. But we're gonna see how this happens. I'm getting rid of Septi as soon as I can so that they're no longer an issue. Welcome to the 4th episode of, I should say, hopefully you enjoyed the 4th episode of Nil's Nut Nest. Stay tuned.